Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are looking at putting together some Lego sets. There's a huge part of me that says I know I have another one of these with Obi-Wan and Lama Su. Or nope, that's Tang Wei. You know, I don't know where I put it. So we will end up getting this one put together. I do have a couple others, and then we have the newest series, 75388, which is Jedi Bob Starfighter, and we're going to rebuild the galaxy. This is from their new line. We're going to get this put together. We'll do this one on screen, and I'll fast forward it, but this one I'll get done off screen, and we'll compare that with a couple of the other ones that we have here behind all these, and we'll go from there. So we'll just try and figure this all out. We'll go from there, and then we'll see how it all matches up. Okay, so now we're back. So we got this all put together. We got that one, which I know I have another one of these. Actually, I'm sure I have an older one as well, but this is the one we're going to go with. And as you can see, we have a couple different variations of fighters here. That one's where it all goes to. But it's just kind of an interesting thing, because now this is what we originally see in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, for the Delta 7 Jedi Starfighter. And that's kind of where this is based off of, as Jedi Bob's. So here we have Obi-Wan, who does fit very well inside the cockpit. We have what did I say? Lama Se? I think it's Lama Se. I'm going to mess this up so many times here. Tang Wei. Okay. Tang Wei was the one that Boba Fett had talked to when they went to the... Okay. But I know Lama Se was, I believe, their magistrate, or however it gets worked out. And then, of course, then we have, what is this, R4, I believe. Looking at the box so I can correct my mind here, and it is R4. It's R4P17, but they only refer really to it as R4. Now, in order to get this here, we take the head off and we put it on here, and then the body actually goes inside underneath here. So we have a little storage compartment for the rest of the droid, and that works out pretty good. As the landing gear I'm never gentle with this stuff, I swear. Oh, come on. If I can get her to stand up. Alright, so this is a very basic design. This is a little bit beefed up back here, but if you remember correctly from Attack of the Clones, we had some spare parts stored back there, so it makes some sense. And this is nicely done. It has some Technic pieces in here, so it has that slope and our landing gear, and that works really well. And then when we get to our new one from Jedi Bob, and I've said this in the past, and this really shows that LEGO is paying attention to this. Red had always been kind of the standard Jedi piece color in Star Wars. George Lucas had established that. When we first see the Jedi coming in on their Jedi cruiser, it's actually in red for peace. So we keep that in mind. So when we look at our new one with Jedi Bob, and let me see the box here so I can, are we saying that this is, it's Akbar Trooper, so it's General Akbar as a as a stormtrooper. So we could always switch out Admiral Akbar, his head, with any other figure if we want to redo it some other way. And we do have Jedi Bob. Now, Jedi Bob is supposed to have a cape. I did not put the cape on, and he only has just the hood. So if I take the hood off, then he's got kind of a grayish beard and that going on here, and he is in gray. Unlike Obi-Wan, where he doesn't have a cloak, but he does have that kind of a hood. So I could put that hood on there. So I will kind of mention that. Now his is done a little differently. There's a little bit more space here, as the Technic pieces separate things a little bit more than what we have on our previous one. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, maybe not. I don't think I pushed it in all the way. So now it fits in really well. I'm sorry. That's on me. Okay, and we do have some bigger laser cannons here. And this is kind of a hearken to what they had done for what they called Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Starfighter, Delta 7. Okay? And we don't have an extra droid here. So that is another kind of departure from our norm. Now, normally we have a droid on here, and your droid takes care of your astrogation. So, there is a chance that maybe he doesn't have that, or it's an internal droid brain that takes care of the astrogation. So when we look at the Mark 1 of the Delta 7 compared to the Mark 2, and of course Anakin's modified one is based off the Mark 2, you see the droid is on the side, the Mark 2 has it in the middle, and of course Jedi Bob, he doesn't have one. He does have the storage unit though. If I can get this to come up here. Because we have, for Jedi Bob, a banana and a blue milk carton. So we do have a little bit of a storage compartment, not as much as what we do on those for the base of the droid. And we do have a nice compartment in here to put Jedi Bob in here. And we do have that headrest on there that is very similar as to what we have on the other ones. This one is built a little differently, and he also has 3 engines in the back. So as we look at that, we have 3 engines in the back here and the 2 in the front. So I'm thinking he's going for a little extra speed here. Typically, when it was described for the Anakin, the front engines were the hyperdrive engines in comparison to the rear engines being just your sublight. So we have a nice control panel in here, so we can put them in there. It is a nice looking fighter. I think it'll fit very nicely. Just say it's a modified version, and it is really nice. It has a pretty good build. We do have our shooters. You all know that I'm not a big fan of the shooters. It does have a spot here so you can put his lightsaber down in here. So if he's in the Starfighter, it's tucked away. And of course, if we put the landing gear up without having to straighten everything out, it still works because it's all back behind here and it's not really in the way. And if I don't have it, then we just land right on the engines. But yeah, it's a nice little design. Comes with some nice stickers. There's not a lot of stickers. There's only, what, 7 of them in all. In comparison to Obi-Wan, where we have, what do we have, 8, 10, 13. We have 13 stickers for Obi-Wan here and only 7 here. So sticker-wise, it works out a little nicer, especially when you sometimes fumble and you're trying to get them on straight, and especially for kids, sometimes they go all crooked and everything. But for adults, I think we can get the stickers on a little easier than what the kids sometimes do. Although I admit, sometimes I put them on and it's like, well, that's not going to work. So, you know, it all works out. But it is kind of nice seeing a little variation here. And of course, we have our Gonk power droid, and that's what these are. They didn't know what to call them, and originally they called it Gonk because that's what sound they had made at the time, so they just called it a Gonk droid. But it's a power droid, kind of a big old battery power station, something like that in there. So it works out pretty good. I think it's a nice fighter. I think it works out really nice, and it complements everything else that we have here. Like I said, I mean, we have our Mark 1 here with our droid off to the side. Then we have our Mark 2, and of course I have the landing gear down. So as you can see, here we have, looks like I got a Han Solo or someone in there. So for whatever I was doing, but it has the very similar features. It's just that we have the droid in front. So this was done during the Clone Wars. We got to see this, and of course, then we have a little bit different look for the engines. And then when we get to, and I'll slide these back so we can pull up Anakin's here. Because Anakin is always one of those that has to keep tinkering with things and the like. We have Anakin in here, and I don't know what I did there. That's to hold the lightsaber, I think, but he doesn't have the headrest in there. And I gave him a different droid because, I mean, I've got a ton of R2s, so anything I could do to change it up, because we have R2 everywhere. Of course, he's got extra firepower here on both sides, and he's got the big, beautiful engines on the back here. And if I can keep this all together, and these are on kind of swivel mounts here to kind of go up and over, because these are big honking engines that we have on there. So he's got these big engines, and then they connect back to here to give him some extra speed as well as a hyperdrive. So, and this wobbles a little bit, and I want to say, I think this was meant to break away, and I'm going to try and do it. Yep, this breaks away as the escape pod. So that's what they had done on that one. So it's kind of a nice series of progressions that they had done. This one, you know, it's just kind of a far out there, and as you can see, I've got some dust on there, but it's kind of far out there, but you know, to pull it in there and say it all makes sense. And of course, this is where things ended up. And really what we did is we took the base Delta, we took all this out of here, cut it here so it's a little smaller, shorter, a little bit more of a snub fighter than what those are. And of course, then we get the solar arrays getting closer and closer to our TIE fighters that we get later on. And as you can see, we have R2 sitting here, and then this one is a blank, but it's all done the same. If you're doing it on one side, you're pretty much doing it on the other. As one of the big things I've always learned in building the starfighters and planes and all that, what we do on one side, we typically do on the other side. So it is kind of nice to see how all these things progress. and that. So with that, I hope you enjoy this. It's fun putting them together. It's always hard trying to find extra room to put them in. I do have a drawer I've got some of these in. I'm hoping to have room for the rest. And that's what I'm stuck to right now. That's why we have all this stuff in the background. I'm running out of room. But it's fun building them. And we'll keep doing it as best we can. I've just got to figure out how to get a little bit more creative on doing this. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.